Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special Knife Nuts Extra, because we are joined by Michael Miller of Tactile Knife Co. It's been a long time.
Hey guys.
It's great to have you, man.
Yeah.
We've been
thanks for letting me join the podcast. I appreciate it.
Oh man, we've been trying to get this going for quite some time. Just trying to get adult men together to sit down and talk is apparently a challenge. Throw Blade Show in the mix, and then you have a whole other layer of stuff. But thank you so much for coming on. We have a lot to talk about. You guys came out of the gate real strong with the Rockwall flipper. I assume everything's been going great with that.
Yeah, we definitely have tried our best to come out of the gate strong. One of the ways we were able to do that is because of the parent company of Tactile Turn, for those that aren't aware. So Tactile Knife Co. was started by Tactile Turn. So we have 5 Swiss lathes now, or 4 actually, I'm sorry. And we have a bunch of machining capacity that came from this. So we added the few parts needed to turn those machines into being able to make folders, being able to make pocket knives. We spent months in the design process and prototyping of this. I know we were in the deep into prototyping in August of last year, and we came to market in March of this year. It took us that long to get everything dialed in to the point of having a good action, having good grinds, all the parts to our specs and everything. We've tried our best to come out of the gate as strong as possible.
And it's funny because before we even started planning this podcast out, at least with you as a guest, Dave and I were actually discussing how great it is that there is another, one of the only domestic manufacturers in town. Because we're big fans of We're big fans of Tactile Turn, so we were no stranger to the quality that you guys were able to put out. So it was very exciting for us.
Yeah, we're based in Garland, Texas. That's where we're in the exact same shop as Tactile Turn. Those lathes turn our screws, turn our hardware. So we have a great system already established. We already have employees. We already have so many things already done for us as a brand. And then we're just shaping it into a knife brand that to be formidable as a player in the domestic manufacturing side of things, for sure. We're not trying to be a custom shop. We're not trying to be a mid-tech shop. We are trying to be a production shop. Company. But right now, we are probably leaning more the mid-tech feel because of just where we are as a brand right now. Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty great to see, too, is having that. It's a lofty goal to set. It's easier to be a mid-tech company, It requires less hands, more hands, I should say, and lower volume. When you have the idea of trying to produce stuff in quantity and keep quality at a high level, that's a big deal. So
yeah, one of the main things that makes that possible for us is we run 3 wire EDMs. So all of our blades are wire EDM'd, all of our handles are wire EDM'd, all of our clips are wire EDM'd. Our backspacers are wire EDM'd. The wire EDM is a much slower
serious
process.
Machinery. That's 3 of them. I mean, that's big time, man. That's great.
Yeah. Wire EDMs are not nice on the bank account, but they are really formidable precision machines, and they get tolerances.
I almost did a spit take when you said 3. So
yeah,
that's
they
pretty
get
impressive.
Tolerances that are just bonkers compared to anything from lasers, from water jet. Water jet, if you ever see a raw water jet product, it looks like shit.
Yeah,
it's not pretty.
Not wonderful. No.
Yeah.
And of course you can sold stuff like that.
You You can run it slower, and you can get better finishes. But if you want the cream of the crop, wire EDM is as good as it gets, and it's extremely important to have your stop pin track, where it stops closed, where it stops open, being precise and consistent every single time to the thous. So we are extremely glad and proud that we have that capability. We also run 2 Doosan mills that have extreme great tolerance standards. They are beasts of machines, and we have a great programmer designer, Matt. He is such a wizard with those 2 mills. Everything that you see here, this is a milled part from the handles to the backspacer to the blade, all are run on the Doosan at some point in time. And man, it's really great having those tolerances. Again, if you're stacking tolerances, if you're trying to be production, you're stacking tolerances. Every single part matters. Every single part has to be consistent. So we have machines that can do that, including 4 Swiss lathes that are running around the clock for pins and that fit in time to run all of our screws, all of our hardware, all of our pivot bodies, everything. Again, we're doing this all in Garland, Texas, all in this one shop. And we even just recently got a Seatman grinder. For those that don't know, it's kind of like a burger if you've done any looking into that, but it's definitely a production style grinding machine that is capable of grinding over 1,000 blades a week. Now, are we at a brand that can handle that right now? No, but we plan to be in the future as soon as possible. So we're putting the bank account not at a fun place, but we are putting ourselves in a place to succeed.
You guys are definitely all in. That's
yeah.
Hey, Dave.
The Texas Hold'em, we threw all our chips in the center of the table, and we're praying we get some good cards, and we've got a stacked deck in our hand.
I bet Brian would have passed out if he heard all that.
Yeah. So Brian's working with 1 CNC in his garage, and that was enough of an investment. 3-wire EDM. So we know you guys aren't going to disappear overnight. That's a comforting thing.
No, sir. Sir.
Yeah.
Because that's a concern. You know.
Honestly,
yeah. There's a lot of one-hit wonders that disappear after the first little blip, and we plan on being here for the long term, for the long haul.
Yeah.
We plan on making a statement that domestic machining, domestic manufacturing can be done right and can be affordable and can be a great product that you are honored to own, because we're honored to make it.
Yeah, I'd love to ask about that. So you guys probably don't have this problem since you're making things in the U.S., but you see a lot of small-time knife makers who are starting a production model, or companies that pop up out of nowhere, and people ask where they're made, and inevitably it's China, and people are always like, "Oh, it'd be cool if you could make it in the USA," and usually the response is, "Yeah, we would love to. It's just too difficult." So like, when you guys are making, pens, what was the inspiration to be like, it's not too difficult to switch to making knives? Because the thing we hear over and over is it's just too tough to make stuff domestically.
It is very difficult, and man, like, we've hit a lot of snags, a lot of roadblocks. Like I said, it took us since from August to March to be able to even sell the first product. Even then, that product was not to our current standards. We've improved the process substantially now, but it's extremely difficult to make those leaps. Part of it is you have to have a team, and Will Hodges, the owner and of Tactile Turn and Tactile Knife Co, just was ponied up and like, I got to get some good guys. So we've got Kevin Taylor, who is amazing programmer for the lathes. We have John, who is a wizard with online marketing, and we have Matt Pallamore, who's the programmer for the Doosans, the knife designer, and just a freaking crazy awesome dude who is extremely talented. I'm lucky to be part of that first crew. We've got also Tim, who runs all the EDMs and does all the surface grinding. We've got a great group of guys. Right now we've got 12 people working full time that are just nonstop trying to make this into a brand that is worth standing on its own 2 feet, and I think we're definitely there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's really great insight, Dave. Too. I was thinking the same thing. I love that you have a group of people that you've worked with in the past too, because you say from August to March for getting the first knife in. To me, that doesn't seem like a very long time. You know what I mean? I'm sure the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that went into that amount of time feels like a lot. But coming from a place of you guys were in a very unique situation where you had manufacturing experience. You were making tools, you know? And I think that... Do you think that made it a little easier to pivot towards knives? No pun intended.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. So like you were talking about people ordering knives non-domestic made. So if you have a problem with your design, you're talking about 3 months in the queue to get the first batch, and those prototypes come back and they're sketchy. So it's going to take you a redesign time, which is going to take you a week worth of redesigning. Then you're going to have to submit your redesign. It's going to be another 3 months before you get the next round of prototypes, or hopefully 2 weeks at the earliest. So because we are so in-house, because every machine is run in-house, we have the ability to be like, hey, we've got a problem with our pivots. Well, we've got the machines 15 feet away. We've got the programmer 10 feet away. And we can get things from concept to actual physical, tangible product in our hands in a light speeds compared to many other brands.
And that's a really great point, because I want to talk about the Rockwall design in a little more detail. But I also want to talk about future product, which you already have coming down the pike. So this is, everything is moving so quickly. But let's first start out with the Rockwall, and what was the design idea behind this?
So the design idea behind this simply was try and make something as classy as possible, as minimalist, simple as possible, and to take up the smallest footprint inside your pocket. We've got C. Gary Moyer, one of the guys in our Facebook group, took a picture of a Rockwall next to a pack of gum, and I've kind of taken it and run with it and made it like this scientific test. We have the gum pack standard, the little five count gum pack that you get at a gas station. We try and make stuff that is similar to that size. This is our pin. Obviously, it's slender. Obviously, it's longer. But you look at compared, they feel and look the same. They can fit in. They feel like they're part of a family, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And part of that family aspect as well, I'm sure it won't show up really on webcams or anything like that, but there is a very fine texture in the Tactile Turn knives, and we tried to transform that into the folder as well as much as we can. So there is a very fine texture here as well. It's not quite as fine. It's a little bit more aggressive, but it's also fitting because of the tool that it is. So we tried to keep some of the same design cues. We tried to keep something slim and thin and deep carry, so where it disappears inside of your pocket.
And Dave and I have been carrying the Rockwall now for a couple months. It feels like maybe like a month and a half, 2 months now.
Yeah, something like that.
And it really does just disappear. Like there is
svelte.
No inkling of it in your pocket at all. But it's still a generously sized blade. It's not like you're getting a tiny little delicate knife. It's something that begs to be used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that people point out is that we do not have a left-hand carry pocket option because of the design. We do not have the ability to put the screws on the opposite side, and we just can't make that happen. So me being left-handed personally, I carry this knife in my back pocket, and it rides just like this inside my back left pocket. So whenever I pull it out, it's like I'm carrying a left-handed pocket knife. I do one quick little rotation, that's it. And it disappears whenever I'm sitting down. It's not uncomfortable. Whenever I never even notice that it's there. It's not very much weight. I'm sure we can't see this on the cameras, and if you're listening to this, there's an extreme amount of lightning pocketing inside of here on both sides. We tried to take off as much material as possible to keep this as slim, light, and sleek as possible.
Yeah. If you check your, well, I was gonna say, just go to the Instagram. You can see pictures. of it and the milling on the inside. It's pretty impressive.
Now, you spoke as a left-handed person yourself. We do have a couple folks that, when I say a couple, I mean like literally a couple people that are left-handed as well, that listen to our show. And they're always the loudest. They want to know if a left-handed model is possible. So do you guys think you might tool up for a left-handed version at some point, or of other models? I know you have a slip joint coming.
Yeah, the slip joint is obviously going to be ambidextrous. But if we do a left-handed model, it will be like a pre-order or a sprint run, something like that. We'll do it like a yearly small batch or something if that's works for us logistically. So again, right now, like we've said, this brand isn't even a year old, so we can't justify a whole redesign just for a small batch. Regretfully, we would love to, but we just can't. So if
we'd save the comments by addressing it here.
Yeah. Once we get up and running, we will definitely cater to left-handed people as much as we can.
Right. That sounds great. So another thing is this is a very, I mean this in a very positive way. It's a very trendy design. Like it's at the edge of what's popular in the EDC world, I think, and it's this type of knife that I believe is bringing a whole new set of fans and customers to the knife world. So this is one of the knives that I credit for the growth in the industry. I think part of that was intentional when it came to this design as well.
Yeah, so I've been in the knife world for a long time. I've been in the custom knife world. The first modern custom knife that I bought was in 2014, and it was a Demco 8010. And if you know about that knife, you're talking about like a steak of a knife. This thing is a beefy beast. I'm a big guy. I can carry a big knife, and big knives were the trend for a long time.
They sure were.
But man, I definitely noticed what you're saying, that there is a market trend desiring smaller, and I definitely was that way for a long time. I think the largest knives that I have in my collection are like a large Sabenza. But I still like it. I do like this smaller size. I think it's I wear extra large gloves, and they are fairly small on me, and I can still get a full 4-finger grip on this for sure, no problem. So that's definitely riding the line of still big enough for anybody, and yet still small enough where anybody is not having this sword in their pocket.
Right.
And legal in a lot more places.
That's true.
That is true as well.
That does help a little bit.
Just don't carry it in New York City.
All right. Don't carry anything in New York City. It's funny you mentioned the large Sabenza. So I got to tell you, incidentally, I met Will Hodges through Tim Reeve. So Tim and I were walking through a Blade show. I guess it was 2019, and he actually brought me over to the Tactile Turn booth, and that's how I discovered you guys. So
that's really awesome.
It's all because of Timmy Reeve.
Tim is a great dude.
What a lovely human being.
If you have the Tim Reeve seal of approval, that's enough for me.
That's pretty much how this works.
I'm a diehard CRK fanboy, so
you
I
can
like
now,
that there's
you
a
can
connection
now,
here.
You can now gloat to Tim that you were on the Knife Nuts podcast before he was.
There we go. That's funny.
He may get mad, but that's okay.
Are you guys gonna keep the gum pack sort of aesthetic? Is there going to be something bigger, or do you not want to rule that out?
We do want to do some bigger stuff as well, but I do think that is a good standard, like flatline
baseline. Yeah.
Is we're gonna do probably gum pack size for most things, and then we will do larger and smaller also variants of whatever design that is. Some designs, obviously, like fixed blades, never going to fit in a gum pack style format.
Some people will try to do it, and there's nothing in this world that I dislike more than a small fixed blade.
Yeah, I like a pocket fixed blade. I like it to be able to have an inside pocket slip. I think that is a functional tool.
Sure.
And again, with some state laws, that is a better tool to have in your pocket than your folding options.
That's right.
So we do plan on doing some of those, but we do also plan on doing fixed blades that are of larger size for camping utility purposes for sure.
Before we move on to some of the new stuff, because I do want to talk about that slip joint. I got to see it from far away. I came by the booth at Blade Show. You guys were a little busy. Didn't have a chance to really talk to you there. But I saw it is similar in size to the Rockwall. But I also want to talk about the ordering process and the unique way that you guys have everything set up for people to purchase things. So before we get into some of the future product, why don't you talk about that process a little bit?
For sure. So we tried to go about things a little differently. We love trying to do new things as a new brand. And we created a waitlist system where you could input your email address and be put on a waitlist. Whenever your spot gets activated, you get a 4-week window to be able to buy it. So we've been running a waitlist since October, mid-October, somewhere around there for the Rockwall. I will warn you that your waitlist number is not accurate to what number we are at as far as releasing, because there were 200 people that signed up for the waitlist before we actually got the system activated. Whenever we did get the system activated, it didn't transfer those people. Sure. So there is a kind of confusion a little bit with that number system. We're trying to correct that. But with the Bayer, with the slip joint, we actually have the wait list live for that, and we're going to be using the same system, so we won't have those problems. So, like I said, it's no deposit down. It's not like a legal commitment signed in blood, but it's just input your email address. Whenever we hit your number, we activate it. You get a window. If you buy it, awesome. If you don't, you can sign up again. So that's kind of what we've been doing. The price point on the Rockwall is $299. It's a XHP blade steel. We are going to be running some in 20 CV. We have ordered another steel that's kind of been getting a lot of podcast news.
I wonder
lately.
what it could be.
I wonder. My dad might have gotten one of the Sabinzas in it.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to try and keep this relevant in steel form for sure, and we're obviously going to try and keep our standard for quality control that we've been known for as a pin brand and as a knife brand as well. You want to talk about some of the new models?
Yes,
but I've got it right here.
Personal question.
Yeah.
Tactile Turn has really great material use, and specifically the Zerk. I would love to see a Rockwall or the slip joint with Zerk handles. Is that something that could possibly happen?
We've made one Rockwall with Zerk.
Oh.
The problem that we have is threading material that is so thin for our lock bar. So we are trying to do a workaround for that, because we have some already cut. We're going to try and refine that some, and you definitely will see this in Zerk. We do have a Timascus prototype that has been done, but as far as like red metals and stuff like that, probably not going to happen on this.
Sure,
but will happen with the slip joint.
Oh, I like to hear that.
Very cool.
So without further ado, let's talk about this slip joint.
Wait, can I add one
first,
ado?
Let's see it.
Dave, what's your ado?
I just wanted to say that the waitlist system is such a great idea, because
It is a great one.
all of the good knives
real
now
quick,
are in such
sorry. Time frame wise, we're like a 3-month, maybe a little bit less. So we're trying to go through it as fast as possible. But as soon as we make knives, we've got more people on the wait list. But we have been keeping up, so we have the same number of people on the wait list that are waiting. It's like 1,200 people or something like that. So we hope to be done with that in 3 months, and hopefully we have more people on the backside.
Yeah, but what I really like about that idea is that no one's going to miss out, it seems like, and that's the problem. So when people have things manufactured overseas, you need to put a run size, and so you need to sell those spots, and if you miss out on that spot, either you wait until the next time they order 300 or 500 of those, or they never do that, and you're shit out of luck. And so it's really cool that you can just sign up for this, and like, yeah, you'll have to wait, but that's not the worst thing in the world. You'll get the knife that you want, and that's not a guarantee
People like
anymore.
to wait. I think people like to wait.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
a
if
really
you don't
good
want to
system.
wait, there are some that come available in the secondary, so you can cut in line a little bit if you want to, just not through us.
You know that they're in demand because I saw one on eBay that sold for well over MSRP. So clearly you are demand outweighs supply right now.
Yeah,
which is a good place to be.
So on the slip joint, real quick, guys, we've spent 4 months now developing the spring. So if you've held a production slip joint, it is difficult to find a production slip joint that has a walk and talk that would be a standard of a really well-made slip joint. So we decided, since we have specifically the wire EDM at our fingertips, we have the ability to do this right from the get-go. So our goal is to get a perfect walk and talk that is dependable and reliable. We've gotten the walk and talk down. We're trying to increase the longevity of the spring. We actually have a robot that's been at the shop since before I was working there, and we programmed it to open and close. Our slip joint.
I saw the video. Yeah. That's
So
pretty cool.
Skynet is technically helping us
That is
field
wild.
test our knife.
So that robot has tenure on you.
Yeah, it does. It does.
That's
See how
like
this is
IKEA
going.
has the little machine that opens and closes the drawers in their store, so that you can see that they're like tested for 1 million opens or something.
Exactly.
That's awesome that
And
you guys have something like that.
Yeah, we want to try and start a ticker tape where it shows the progress of it. So real quick, guys, just a couple size comparisons. I can get other knives if y'all want other size comparisons.
Sure.
So we have,
I don't think I have.
this is the Rockwall compared to the Bayer. It is a little bit smaller, but the blade size is still really good. Your benefit, though, is just how thin we were able to get. We are talking 3 sticks of gum thick. So, again, like, you can fit this inside of a gum pack and have, from where my fingers are showing,
I love
just
that
inside of there
profile,
with
too.
two other sticks of gum. It's just crazy.
Little Bowie on there. Is that what I see?
Little bit of shoot. It's not drop
clip?
point. Clip point. Yeah. We have a lanyard system in there, so you can tie a lanyard on it. So you have the option, but yet you do not have a through hole just screaming you didn't put a lanyard on your knife.
It doesn't have a pocket clip. Am I correct in assuming that?
Not yet.
I see. Because the pocket clip on the Rockwall is a very, that's a distinct feature of this thing.
Speaking on the pocket clip on the slip joint, we do have this screw here clocked. So we are going to play with trying to put a pocket clip. We can't promise anything. If we do put a pocket clip, your original Bayer will still be able to use said pocket clip. Yes. So we do. We're trying to future-proof that, where if you buy the knife, you are buying the brand and can upgrade it or turn it into what you want it to be at a later point in time.
I see some titanium Damascus accessories coming in the future.
Tactile Turn is known for that, and I guarantee you we're going to run with that too.
Yeah.
We do have a run of Damascus steel backspacers that have been floating around the shop too as well.
You're getting me
That's
all
awesome.
excited, Michael.
Yeah. Real quick, let me grab a PM2 so y'all can see some size comparisons.
That
I
would
think that's
be
pretty
great.
good.
I like the spinning chair.
The spinning
And
chair.
it stops perfectly.
Oh, well, no, it's still going.
Nope.
Ghost chair. Oh, there he is.
My hands did not come back empty. I might have grabbed more than one knife.
Right.
So PM2,
Okay.
standard classic this is compared to the Rockwall.
Yeah, I mean, dramatic.
So we are
difference there.
substantially less footprint.
But cutting edge is similar, I would say.
Cutting edge,
You're probably getting
it's
a
pretty
little more
similar,
with too, but it's not far off.
yeah. You're getting titanium, you're getting XHP,
Sure.
you're getting and obviously it's a different price point.
Yeah, but the price point is getting closer than it should be.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
the
getting quite
material
close
changes.
together.
They're getting pretty close.
Yeah.
PM2
So then Benchmade 940
Yep.
is similar in that same gentleman's slim carry kind of style. We're still a little bit smaller. I don't have a 940 mini or whatever the hell.
The biggest
those
difference is
numbers
this
are.
actually cuts stuff.
Man, you're
Yes.
talking about just thickness.
I love
we
the
are
940.
slicey dicey.
I love the 940, but when it comes to like actual cutting performance, it's not even close.
Yeah, I've been a 940 fan since
Since the 940
probably-
came out here, but like
since I was probably 14 or so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been into knives since forever. I was carrying Emerson's and Benchmade's whenever I was 11 and 12 years old.
I just gotta say, the fact that you are a passionate knife guy,
this is rare.
and the fact that you have a collection of knives, and you're involved in making them, it doesn't happen.
I love it, man.
It doesn't happen as often as some people might think.
Most people that work at knife companies are not knife enthusiasts. They are people who needed a job. So this is really cool. I'm really impressed by that. I think that really lends some credence to you guys.
Oh, look
Mark
at
Sabenza.
Is that the Prometheus
look,
Design Works one?
Dave's gonna watch out, Michael. Dave's about to pass
I like
out.
Krakens.
Yeah.
I like Krakens.
Yeah, so
I do
so you're
stuff
still in
with
touch with the
Krakens.
knife community. That's not an old knife.
No, and this is the Rockwall compared.
Right.
So it's around the size of a small Sabenza. It's obviously a smaller footprint than a small Sabenza and a thinner and slicier blade.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the most popular right now, the Benchmade Bug Out. So
Even that, that's a great comparison right there, because
yeah,
the weight difference. Whereas I'm sure the
we're
bug out is lighter.
about the same thickness.
Yep.
But they're running on plastic with a little metal liner, and we're running full tie. Both have deep carry pocket clips. Both are fairly thin blades.
Mm-hmm. Both are great knives. It's a funny thing to me because, sure, you may save a little money by purchasing a bug out, but every knife nerd is going to trick out their bug out with like some titanium scales or something
Flatanium,
else.
man.
Yeah, I love
Made
the
in China.
titanium guys too. Yeah, well, that's true. But it's still a very funny thing to think. Like, that person is definitely going to spend $300 on their bug out before the end of time. Or they go on the Benchmade website. And I'm not knocking any of this because I'm about to do the same thing. But
Yeah.
when you compare apples to apples here, there's a lot of value in the Rockwall.
So, real quick on that subject of Benchmade Bug Out, Tactile Knife Company, whenever I was hired, was supposed to make bug out scales. We were going to develop this knife while producing bug out scales, and we had a team meeting, and we talked it out, and we decided, why make another knife brand's knife better whenever we can make our knife great? So, I like I said before, I've carried bug outs most of my life. Or not bug outs, I've carried Benchmates.
Right.
So I've carried Benchmates for a long time. I appreciate them, I like them.
Sure.
But we do desire to make a better knife. And so that was kind of a fun little nod to what we planned to do versus what we ended up doing. And I think we made the right call.
I think you guys did too. Another, I won't say the name, but another domestic manufacturer of knives kind of got stuck making stuff for other people's knives and never really fleshed out their own manufacturing. And it's nice to see you guys kind of decide to nix that and go with making your own knives instead.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
One of the pitfalls of
It's
of the
tempting. I
business.
mean, there's a lot of people buying
It
bug
is.
outs. I'm sure you would have
It
made
is.
plenty of money selling bug out scales, but I really think the moving into your own knives was a much cooler, much more
and it
forward thinking
shows-
idea.
So you have the slip joint coming out. I'm sorry, what? It's called the Bear, like the pain.
Bear,
reliever.
yeah. It is spelled Bexar,
What?
but yeah. So it's one of our founders, John, who does the online marketing. He is from San Antonio, Texas, and the county of San Antonio is Bexar.
All right.
So it looks like it's Bexar, but it's pronounced Bear.
Bear.
Just like. So the Rockwall is named after Rockwall County, which is about 5 miles away from our shop. It's technically the smallest county in Texas, so this is kind of like the beginning. This is where we started. Kind of a name is why we chose that as well.
Very cool. So,
So we plan on continuing that with our folders specifically, is following naming based off of counties in Texas.
Ooh, I'm excited for when you get to Tom Green County, Texas, which
Yeah.
is apparently a county in Texas. I just learned. I want
Well,
a Tom
we've got Mesquite, we've got Montague, which is I go hunting out there, and it's spelled basically Montague, but it's pronounced Montague.
well, that would be the fancy one. You could do when you do the one with this full dress. You could call it the Montague. But then,
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. That was a stupid joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
So what's next?
What else?
What's
we
next?
have, like I said, we have a Seatman grinder that needs to run. So we've decided that we want to make some kitchen knives because I think that's going to be good for us. I think also there's other benefits of there as far as marketing and Facebook and Zuckerberg not zucking you. And
You couldn't wait to say that, could you?
No, man, he's got it out for me right now. He doesn't like me.
Zucked.
But yeah. So you can do some things with kitchen knives over there, and other knife brands that are domestic knife brands are running ads over there, and we think we could do well with chef knives. Of course, we have to make a good chef knife. We're not just trying to do it for marketing, but we do plan on doing this, and that was one of the things that there were prototypes at the shop that Will tried to make his own chef knife himself off with a belt grinder back 2.5 years ago. So we've kind of refined that design a little bit. We've added the tactile texturing handles to it.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Does it have finely milled titanium handles? Because
so
that's
we're
what
going to
my
have
kitchen
titanium
needs
handles.
Right now.
Yeah, we're going to have titanium handles, and we're also going to try and do rich light. So we're going to have the option of both, so that you're going to have the micarta look and feel, and you're also going to be able to do metal titanium if you'd like. We're going to try and come in at $150 for an 8-inch chef knife.
Wow.
With good blade steel, which is competitive and a great value, especially with the handles, and even cheaper with the rich light. Speaking of price points as well, the Bayer's $150 price point as well.
Wow.
So we're trying to come to market with this at a reasonable price point to be able to get it in as many pockets as we can, make it where people can afford it for a Father's Day present, a Christmas present, or whatever. But yeah, we definitely want to be known for giving great bang for our buck whenever you buy a tactile knife.
And
the chef knife is going to be followed by other chef knives in smaller sizes, and also paring knife, steak knives as well.
wow. Well, I mean, it sounds like you guys have your work cut out for you for the next
Yes, sir.
couple of for the foreseeable future, I would say.
Yeah.
What a great lineup. It's amazing to see the story and how relatively quickly it feels like you guys have made your mark on the industry, and I personally cannot wait to see where it goes. Is there anything else you want to let our audience know?
I want to take a quick second and thank Will Hodges and every other team member at Tactile Knife Co. We've got a great crew of production to assembly to every single person involved. This is a team effort to be able to bring these knives to market. And I also want to thank everyone who follows us, supports us, because man, we couldn't make this happen. We're living the American dream, making knives made in America, and supporting American families, American production, all based in Texas. And we are proud to be able to have these offerings, and very thankful that the market and the community has accepted us as a brand. Very thankful for people like y'all giving us a place to be able to come and talk about our knives and talk about what we're passionate about.
Oh, well, we really appreciate you coming on. And thank you to Will, too. I'm sorry he couldn't be with us, but please give him our regards as well.
I will.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for letting us check the Rockwalls out. That was really awesome. I really appreciate that. Oh, wait, the one thing we didn't talk about that I really want to talk about, because...
Yes, I'm sorry, Dave.
This is the box. The box and the packaging for the
sure.
Rockwall is so good.
This is a great way to close it out, by opening and closing a box.
The box.
So
why
I
did you
will
guys
say,
do it? It's so good.
So, presentation, first impressions are always important. I will say that we are transitioning to a foam box for the Rockwall, but we do plan on having the first releases of knives come in a different grade, or have some other thing that makes it a perk.
One with Zark handles.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to get that fancy. So at the Rockwall, we had the same price point. It came with a Richlight milled box that had magnetic opening and close, magnetic holding for the lid. The Bayer, we haven't quite decided what's going to be with it. Also, the Rockwall, everybody who joined the waiting list before we sold our first knife had a serialized number. So it ended up closing off at 360 something. So we plan on doing something similar, if not that exact same thing, with the Bayer as well. So we do plan on trying to give the people that support us before we proof of concept, and put their trust in us as a brand, something that makes it worth that. So like I said, we had I think 1,200 people signed up on our wait list before we'd even sold the first knife. I'm sorry, we had 775. That was the exact number. 775 people were signed up on our wait list before we sold our first knife, before we started getting marketing by anybody other than me posting on Instagram and Facebook and social media. So we are extremely thankful for the people that have supported us before we turned into the brand that we are now.
Wow.
Awesome.
And I'll add a note that when our samples came in, Dave went onto our group chat and was just talking up the box before he even got to
I was really excited
the knife
about the
box. So
box.
you knew it was off to a really good start there. Michael,
so it was really neat.
Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you to our generous patrons who make this possible. Thank you to everyone who I ran into at Blade Show. We're going to be doing a follow-up to that. Michael, I hope you join us again sometime. I think there's a lot to be told in the story of Tactile Knife Company, and we're just at the start of it.
For sure, and if y'all ever end up winding up in Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas, let us know. You're more than welcome to come by the shop.
I'd love to. Thank you very much, man.
Awesome, I appreciate it.